Okay, we are live. I tried to share something there. It wasn't working out. Chad is here. For some reason, I can't see his face though. But Chad,
I'm
you're not
here.
over there. You're not over there crying about the Tom Brady thing, are you?
Man, I am so upset right now. Give me 1 second. I just gotta, get my thoughts together here.
Yeah,
Take a
pull it
deep
together.
breath. I thought people only listened to us. I was told I had a face for radio. Um, so I used to get told growing up. So that's where I thought we were going with this
That would make
project.
sense.
But yeah, let me get going here. I'll decide to I'll join the show. How's that sound?
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Uh,
There we are.
well, as people can see, Kalen's not with us tonight, but he's got some other stuff going on, so he'll be back on Monday, I'm sure. He's doing his thing, but you know, we should jump right into the Tom Brady thing, Chad, because obviously we talked a little bit about it. We weren't really sure. Tom was nice enough to break it as soon as we pretty much got off on Monday or Tuesday morning there, and yeah, I mean, we both kind of went through this now.
It's been a rough couple weeks for you and me. I think the sports wise and football world. Like obviously, Tom Brady was only in Tampa for a short time. But I do believe that forever in our hearts, Tampa Tom will always be a superhero. He definitely changed our attitude of the team and changed the way that we were respected in the league. And one of the coolest parts is he brought in a lot of his friends. And I think we saw a part of Tom Brady that we never thought we would ever see. The guy that had fun, let loose a little bit, talked some shit, and did his thing. It was kind of the best thing that we could have saw. I think we saw two different versions of Tom Brady in his career. But even before that, Shane, I've been a huge fan of him for a long time since you've met me. I've been massive fan since he came into the league for the simple fact that he just wins.
Yeah, we
Um,
almost have to be right.
I think that it's we're doing football just a disservice when I hear the people say like, um, "Oh, he cheated. He needed kickers to win. He had to have a defense." If you look at the teams that were around him in New England, the teams that actually didn't win the Super Bowls were the teams that they literally brought stars in for.
Right.
He did it with no receiving core, never top running backs. So yeah, I think it's a complete crock of shit that the fact that we don't think that a lot of people don't think that he did it and how great he was, and they used every excuse because haters are gonna hate. One thing I remember always being taught was they hate us because they ain't us was always the thing growing up, and I think that's kind of what it was in New England. New England was so good, so people had to hate them. Like you were in the AFC, you saw it year in and year out. You
I
guys
def
were always
I hated them.
you, yeah, and everybody hated Tom Brady. And I think with what happened was he went to Tampa Bay, and I think people realized this isn't the man you have to hate. He gave us 20 years of a kind of quarterback play we will probably never see again.
Right.
Um, and he was never the fastest. He never had the biggest arm. He wasn't flashy. He was a fundamentally sound quarterback with a decent arm. He was just smarter than everybody else. And he played to his strengths. They made an offense that worked for his system. And I will say, I think he is a system kind of player, but they made the system work. Um, and just as a football fan, a football coach, and a quarterback guy, I think it's safe to say that we were spoiled the last 22 years. And if people don't appreciate that, I have a hard time thinking that they're truly football fans.
Well, and I just don't think they appreciate the greatness and what we went through. I mean, even if you look at somebody, that's been retired probably for 8 years now. I mean, Brett Favre was a big reason why the quarterback position started to change in general. Then Peyton Manning, who's already in the Hall of Fame, so I mean, he's been gone for at least 6 years. But for Tom Brady to do what he did for as long as he did, and I don't think anybody would have faulted him for coming. Like, it's not like he played poorly. Nobody would have thought, "Wow, this guy's just hanging on to the dream." Uh, but I mean, Eli Manning, Philip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, all these guys have gone and kind of retired now, and it opens up a whole new avenue for football. I mean, if you look at Matt Stafford, he's kind of the elder statesman of the quarterbacks right now that are left. I mean, between him and Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yeah, I think the craziest part is like everybody you said there. Obviously, the '07 class of Rivers, Roethlisberger, and Manning. We might never see that again.
Right. I
That's
think that
three
was
guys that
I
are
think
Hall of
that
Famers.
was
'05,
04. 04.
'04. Um, but yeah, like, those are straight Hall of Famers right there. And then we had Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. When are we ever going to see dominance like that again? Like we're talking already about Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert. These are the next guys. But
Right.
I don't know if we can literally put that in and say compare that to the guys that have just went.
Well, yeah, I
Like
mean, it's unfair to
it's not
compare any
fair.
of them to each other, right? Like even Joe Burrow or Matt Stafford, one of those guys is going to have a Super Bowl ring in about 10 days. But does that even put them anywhere close to the level of other people with one Super Bowl? No, I don't think so. Is Mahomes anywhere near Brady? Definitely not. Uh,
Yeah,
you consider Josh Allen to be taking over for Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger? Hasn't proven it yet. I mean, actually, I guess he's kind of on the same career path as Peyton Manning was. He just can't get over the
came in
hump
the big
of
one.
the championship time, right? But
But yeah, it's when are we gonna as football fans, like I think it's we just have to stop being those people. Like we don't always
yeah,
have to have a next one in line.
right.
Like, why don't we appreciate the greatness that we saw for the last 20 years from the quarterback play? No one's ever gonna do what Tom Brady did. We might as well just say that's over. Like
And
he is Michael Jordan, he's Wayne Gretzky. They're in a different echelon of people. I know
and
some people
since we're
want to
talking
talk about
about
LeBron.
the next thing in line, next man up. Uh, I don't know if you heard about this, chat. You ever heard about this stuff?
I'm a big fan of this stuff. I got little pink lemonade going on.
Yeah. We should get in contact with these guys and see if maybe they want to be a part of our Super Bowl show. What do you think?
I bet you they would be in line with it.
Well,
Just a bunch of
considering
jackasses having a couple drinks,
yeah,
talking sports.
considering the entire show is powered by Bangarang now, we I think we got a pretty good partnership. So we're pretty happy about that. We're pretty thrilled about that. We got some more announcements coming out today. But yeah, Chad, I couldn't hold it anymore. I couldn't sit on the first bomb to go off. So keep going with what you're saying. I didn't mean to cut you off, but this shit's delicious.
It is fucking delicious. I lost my thought. I'm just thinking about the next beer I'm gonna grab. Um,
Yeah. Well, it's actually a hard salsa.
it is good old malt beverage.
Uh,
It's better than that
so
stuff we better than those other malt beverages we drank when we were 17. I'll tell you that much. They've
yeah,
come a
yeah.
long way.
This one won't give you the headache that you used to get. Well, we'll see if we circle back to the conversation you're having. But the first thing I saw was, all right, so right now the Bucks and the Steelers are slated to play this season. And if I had to predict our two quarterbacks, we'd be looking at Dwayne Haskins against Kyle Trask. Now, is that
Or
going to
Blaine
hold
Gabbert.
up? Oh, come on, you're better than that. I think it's got to be Kyle Trask, right? Is that going to hold up, or what's next for the Bucks here?
I think it's me, Aaron Rodgers. Let's throw it out there. Why can't we go from 112 to the next? Because that guy doesn't give a fuck, and I think he's got the perfect attitude for Florida. Maybe it's wishful thinking. I heard he bought property in Tennessee. I won't
Yeah,
give Caitlin that, especially since he didn't show up today. So I won't give him that satisfaction. Maybe he's out there showing property to Aaron Rodgers. Maybe that's why he's not here. He's
honestly, like he could be. I mean, he could be on that Reddit forum trying to like bring Aaron Rodgers in. And look, as much as you're saying Tampa Bay, I think that Tennessee makes an awful lot of sense for Aaron Rodgers if they can afford it. I don't know if they can.
yeah. I don't know what's actually going to happen in Tampa. I think we're going to go back to some lonely years. I'm really hoping we don't go back that far. Wow, I'm tired.
Don't get choked up over
It,
there.
it's you don't know how hard it's been to be a Bucks fan. We draft kickers in the second round,
Hey Liam, do you hear that sound? It's everyone jumping off the Bucks bandwagon.
except for me.
Yeah, everyone's jumping off the Bucks. No, I mean you were a real look. The Bucks fans that I know are real Bucks fans. You are a real Bucks fan. Uh, as much as you and Big Fudge have differing opinions on who the Bucks are, you guys are both real Bucks fans. You deserve Tom Brady for the 2 years that you got him. But if that line in Waterboy doesn't sum it up the best, I don't know what would. When
Man,
uh,
you said that, I was so heartbroken.
well, the bad thing for you is I'm starting to get much better at like snip and
Social
paste,
media.
and so I can make things and like send them to. So I put that Bucks logo over Buddy's face, and I was pretty happy. You're not the only person I sent it to. I sent it to a bunch of people. It was like, hi, I just sent this to Chad.
The worst part about this whole thing is, and what people don't understand is, all I'm picturing right now is that stat that I sent to our group about the records of the last 10 years.
Yeah,
50, 53 or 59 wins in 10 years, but 25 of them were in the last two. Like, that's painful.
yeah,
That's like,
yeah. I
people
don't know,
don't
man.
understand what it's like, man. I hope that it doesn't go back to that. I think Bruce Arians can bring in free agents. I think Bruce Arians can still get the job done, but it's going to be tough without a quarterback. And we're not in a place to draft one.
Yeah,
Also, Bruce doesn't like rookie quarterbacks. He's been like, I've been all about these, very open about that too. So it's going to see what we can find, what we can trade for. Um, I wouldn't mind Kirk Cousins. I'll tell you that much.
yeah. I would imagine that the guy that they're bringing in there to be the coach, which we're going to talk about in a sec, he's probably going to want a guy like Cousins around. Uh, he's going to need somebody experienced to run his offense. And let's just hope that he isn't like as crazy when it comes to play calling as Sean McVay, because Sean McVay has a history of working himself out of the win. And he almost did it against the 49ers, and good for them that they held on. But hopefully O'Connell has a little bit better success in Minnesota, because I mean that doesn't really affect our divisions. But uh, the first thought that I like when Brady officially called it, um, why did Bruce Arians not just quit too? Like why didn't he just quit? I mean, you're never going to coach a better quarterback than what you just had. So there's no way you want a new challenge at this age.
Can we just talk about Bruce Arians quarterbacks for a second, though, before we even go down that road of him retiring? We have,
Sure.
like, Andrew Luck outside of Kelly Holcomb could be like the worst quarterback he's worked with,
Yeah, I can see that.
which is absolutely wild. Uh, Peyton Manning, Aaron, not Aaron, fucking, what's his name? Andrew Luck, Ben Roethlisberger, and Tom Brady.
Yeah, pretty good.
It's got a couple good group of guys there.
Yeah, and he
And,
had Carson.
and
He had Carson Palmer when he was in
oh, yeah, he had
when he was in
Carson Palmer,
Arizona, right?
too. And that guy went to a couple Pro Bowls. And now, who, like, it could be Kyle Trask.
Yeah. Why?
It's
Yeah,
a
I mean,
scary
why?
time to be a Bucks fan. Like, if I'm Bruce Arians, I have this, like, he has a book out called The Quarterback Whisperer. Like, you're not going to write a chapter about fucking Kyle Trask.
I think the only whisper right now is he's whispering to Brian Leftwich, "Who the fuck's our quarterback?"
Yeah, luckily he got fucked over in Jacksonville, so that's kind of helping us out a little bit. It might get us a free agent quarterback.
Hmm.
And we still got Clyde Christensen there, the QB coach, who's also worked with everybody. But yeah, no, it's gonna. I think a free agent quarterback's the route we're gonna go. We're gonna have to definitely trade for one. I'll even take Ryan Tannehill if he wants to come on over.
Well, I do
I'm just
think
taking
that
shots at
Tannehill's going to
Tennessee
be. Yeah, I mean Tannehill's going to be a guy
for
looking for
work.
a job, in my opinion. The Aaron Rodgers thing, like maybe it's too easy of a match game. Maybe it was, Aaron Rodgers is like the master manipulator when it comes to the media. He definitely likes to get after the media. I'm sure that he's the one that leaked this wherever he is. Um, he's probably just sitting at some roadhouse down there in Hawaii. And Chad, I don't know. Do you know any roadhouses locally that if Aaron Rodgers came here, we would want him to attend?
Yeah, there's a nice little place up in our good, just north of London and Lucan called MJ's Roadhouse. Phenomenal roadhouse.
Oh, we were hanging out there last night.
We were there the other night. Aaron Rodgers would definitely go out there and have a beer with us.
Yeah, and we might as well just just draw like MJ's will be the new official Roadhouse, so they're going for two. So that's a done deal. We got that sorted.
But yeah, no,
I thought you were gonna say something. I don't know if if you went. I don't know
I
if you
thought
went.
Liam was coming in. I stopped for a second. I thought Liam was jumping in.
Liam is not coming in.
No, he's just like you guys are jackasses.
Yeah,
That's all he
we're
ever.
idiots.
That's all he thinks majority of the time.
Yeah, yeah. Are you paying attention to this skills thing? Because I've already pretty much over it. I'm not. I have.
I just realized Mac Jones sucks.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I mean, accuracy and precision passing is probably not his thing. I guess I don't know. Maybe that's supposed to be his thing. But he hasn't probably thrown a football in 4 weeks. So.
I saw
Oh,
Tyreek pull up in the fastest man.
oh yeah.
So yeah, Mackay Parsons won that thing. So
Well,
if, I
there's
don't know. It's the Pro Bowl's a joke. The
yeah.
skills
I mean,
comp's a joke. They should have taken it back to the old way where it was like just a QB competition. That was the best one about it.
yeah. When it comes like for this, I mean, there's no reason for Mac Jones to be in the Pro Bowl. It kind of just speaks to the validity of the Pro Bowl, and I mean, we weren't even 100% certain it was this week. And if it wasn't for the fact that the NFC, AFC Championship games were last week, we wouldn't even know. We wouldn't pay attention. When it comes to Sunday for the game, I'm not going to be watching it. Uh, Maybe it'll be on in the background somewhere, but I don't have any interest. Now, I'll tell you something that would have made it interesting for me is if they could have convinced Roethlisberger and Tom Brady to play in this. Well, then I would have watched it because that would be like literally just a little bit of extra overtime to see them throw a pass or two. But I'm pretty sure that Roethlisberger is getting his Humpty Dumpty surgery, trying to like now they can officially put things back in place. And Tom Brady is probably tasting a tomato for the first time, and he loves it.
Yeah, that guy probably has way too much time on his hands right now with retirement. I don't, probably doesn't even know what to do with himself.
Yeah, I'm sure he could figure out like a thing or two. I mean, the guy the guy's still a physical specimen. I'm sure he's gonna have some kind of health line, and he's already got his clothing line. Don't Wouldn't be surprised if he was on TV. I heard somebody float around the idea that he might want to buy a team, which I don't I don't know. I don't know if he's that kind of a guy, but as far as there's some of these new coaches here, these teams that are looking for new coaches. Uh, there was obviously a huge I don't want to say scandal, allegation is what I guess we'll say, broke in relation to you know which coaches are getting hired for which jobs. We're not going to pay that much. We're not going to put our input into that. We focus only on what is actually happening in the games and the things that can affect the sport itself. That is a whole different issue. We are not smart enough to comment on it. I can assure you of that. We are not smart enough for that. The one thing that stands out for me is what if owners really are paying people to lose games? That's something that I mean we're not qualified to talk about it, but our minuscule brains can compute a couple of things to come up about that because I mean that might explain the Cleveland Browns a little bit more. I
I
mean,
saw this thing though today, and I laughed so hard, and it was literally it said Blythe Flores $100,000, Hugh Jackson $50,000, Adam Gase, you guys got paid. I don't think I've ever laughed so hard.
I think I sent that to you.
Oh well, we did have a couple bangers last night, so that would explain a lot
Yeah,
more.
yeah, those banger eggs are going down nice. I'll tell you, the pink lemonade's where I like to sit at. But um, sports gambling has taken over, North America. Let's say over the last 16 months. Obviously, it was always there. For us, we always had whatever that thing you could buy at the variety store was, where you had to pick at least 3 games. Uh, but now we're fortunate enough to have friends at Coolbet Canada, so that's the only book we use. But in the U.S., legalized sports betting, you can bet online. You don't have to go to Vegas anymore. Uh, Even teams like the Washington Nationals, who are building a casino and sports book right inside their stadium, which is going to be elite. That's going to be the future of sports. Uh, how do you think they feel about owners paying coaches to lose games?
That's just a wild accusation. And
Yeah.
the sad part is, I actually like all I kept thinking of was Major League when this
Yeah.
came out. um, I don't know
Do
why
you
that's
think
where my brain went when this came out, but like I'm just picking Charlie Sheen coming out of the tunnel.
do you think that they had a Steven Ross poster in the locker room and they kept pulling pieces of his clothing off?
100% they did. Uh that's just a horrible image for everybody to see. Um,
Yeah.
I'm actually not surprised by it. Just the way owners are greedy, they want draft picks. They in a place like some of these teams, you got to make a splash. And if you're already sucking, and the only thing you can go off is you get that first overall pick. How many times we watch like we're always like, oh, teams are going to tank, and we all think it's happening, but like it's never been brought to our attention.
Right.
So am I surprised? No. Do I think it's real? Yes. I think it's more shocked that someone actually came out and said it.
Right. Well, and not even just one. Like now, there's two people that are making the same allegation, which you know, uh, to me, I'd say wherever there's smoke, there's fire, right? Like there's something behind this somewhere. It might not have been this year, but I think that we were all pretty surprised that Flores got fired from Miami. And is that because the 1-7 Dolphins started to win games? And if it is, well, then we got a little bit of a problem there because he did a great job coaching down the stretch. Um, Now, the other question again, and it's not something that we're going to be able to answer because we're not we're not capable of breaking it down like this. But uh, if you have an active lawsuit against the league, can you get hired as the Houston Texans head coach? Because that's what the current rumor is. So I mean, we're going to let that play itself out. But that's a
No,
whole
next
wild scenario.
next question: would you rather get stuck in Houston, or would you rather just take your chances suing the NFL?
You
Because
know
like you're
what?
gonna
Yeah,
get blackballed. It's either you go to Houston, or you could be blackballed for life, and you're choosing to get blackballed more than go to Houston.
yeah. You know what? I don't know. Like uh, Houston is going to have a hard time finding a coach, not because of that, but because their roster absolutely stinks and they don't really have the draft picks to pull it together. It's not really, it's not really an intriguing job. Um, Although he would be a good candidate for it. But the Vikings did pick their coach. They decided that Jim Harbaugh was not going to be a good fit for them because apparently khakis are not good in the cold weather. And they went with Kevin O'Connell from the Rams. Uh, Obviously, that's just another offensive minded coach coming in there. I'm not sure that it was offense that was really struggling the last couple of years. It was more defense, but I, I don't even know what to think of the hire because I don't know the guy well enough. I'm not going to give him any credit for getting Matt Stafford to the Super Bowl because I mean I think we all realized that Matt Stafford was going to be capable enough to get there, provided you took him out of Detroit. Um, So I don't know. I would say it's the opposite of a splash hire is what happened. They had Jim Harbaugh in the building. As much as I hate him, he would probably have been the more attractive candidate. But they go with O'Connell and move on with their day basically.
I'm just sick of these new like fad hires, is what I want to call them. Like everybody picked from the Belichick tree, and we all saw that panned out. Now everybody's picking the McVay tree and the Shanahan tree because these guys, they're supposed to be offensive geniuses, and they, to me, they can't play with the lead, and I don't know why you'd be bringing someone like that in. We
Right.
talked about this last week. It's the same thing week in and week out, year in and year out. I don't like if I'm a team and like that's the guy you got to go with, I guess, if that's what's left over. But how do you go from a guy like you said, a splash like Harbaugh, and like, oh, I guess we're taking this guy? It reminds me of the Houston situation from last year, where the
Right.
only coach left was Tom Cundy.
Yeah, I think that they basically got turned down by McDaniels, right? And then they turned ship to uh, whatever his face was, the guy from Baltimore, the guy that had never been a coach anywhere in his life, or like a head
Yeah,
coach anywhere in his life. But I felt that they did him pretty dirty too. I don't think that he deserved to get fired after 1 year. Um, but yeah, I mean, the Jags job is open again. Dolphins job is obviously open. The Saints job is open. It just doesn't seem like anyone's in a rush to fill these spots. And typically at this time, heading into Super Bowl week, we would just assume that whoever the DC and OC for the Rams and DC and OC for the Bengals are the guys interviewing for these jobs. But I don't think that's the case. I just don't know what they're looking for and what they're waiting for.
What's the job that you would take that's left?
Mm, I'll probably take the Dolphins, especially like if I walked in there and knew that if we lost 10 games my first year, that I'd make $1 million.
At least you get paid.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna make an extra $1 million by losing games. Hell yeah.
I think the only roster that would even be like worth looking at right now would be that Dolphins job.
Yeah,
The
I
Saints
mean,
are in shambles.
It'd be cool to work with Trevor Lawrence as a coach, but I mean, there's a lot of you don't want your name tied to the reason that he didn't work out. But yeah, I mean, go ahead. What were you saying about the Dolphins?
I just think it's like front, top to bottom. I am front to back. They have the best roster. They're in salary cap situations, all right. You don't want that Saints job because no one wants that salary cap issue. You're losing everybody, and you don't have a quarterback. Outside of Trevor Lawrence and Jacksonville, who do you have?
Right.
Um, yeah, so like to me, it's like those are the only really jobs. And then Houston, I don't think like anybody's taking that job.
Right.
I don't think anyone can take that job. Like you're gonna get whatever's left in the barrel, just like you did the year before.
Right. Well, and yeah, I don't think that there's going to be a lot of people line up for that one. Now there was another big news by another shit team in the league. The Washington football team has landed on a name and a new uniform, so they are now the Washington Commanders. Uh, that was probably like the fifth best choice that they could have come up with, but uh, the uniforms are pretty sick, and I think that Matt helmets are pretty dope. But I don't know what you think of the name Commanders.
I think they honestly were like, what name can we put here that will never get us questioned again?
Right.
They're like, let's take the most generic name we can find, and that's what we're gonna go with, just to be safe. Um, it's just one of those things. I understand what they did, but like, I think they should have just kept football team at that point. If you're gonna go with something that generic as Commanders, the name sucks. You might have just stuck with football team. At least people laughed about it.
Right. I mean,
And
Red
it's like,
Wolves wasn't bad, but
like I think
yeah,
like the Red Hogs was another one. Like at least that would have paid homage to their fan base. That would have worked. But I'm
yeah.
sure fat people would have got upset about that, so can't use that one.
Jesus, Jesus. Like, come on, Chad. Can't you have a little bit of class? Like, there's a red wolf somewhere out there rolling his eyes at you.
He's upset about his name too. So yeah,
That was one of the other finalists, and Warriors was what was originally voted on, but apparently like it was too close, and they wanted to really distinguish themselves from the former name. So, I mean, I'm not a Washington football fan anyway. I don't really care. Uh, the uniforms probably look a little bit better on camera, I guess. Uh, how long do you think it'll take us to start calling them the Commanders?
well, it's taken me 3 years not to call them the other word. Look at that. Look at me go. Didn't say it.
Yeah, well, Chad still thinks that the Chargers are in San Diego and the Rams
The
are in
Rams
St.
are in
Louis.
St. Louis, so
So yeah,
I think I even
uh,
told the Raiders they're in Oakland. So it's just par for the course for me.
yeah. Um, all right. Well, look, that there's not a lot of news coming out of the NFL right now. It's probably a good thing. Everyone's kind of focused on the Super Bowl. We got a little bit of draft and a little bit of Senior Bowl stuff. I did have a question on here, and I'll give you a couple minutes to prepare, Chad. And that's going to be the top five athletes that you'll pay money to see right now play, and that could be across any sport. I modified the question a little bit because I realized you probably didn't read it when I sent it to you. So,
I don't read, so
yeah, so that'll give you a second. But um, Anybody that was following our social media today realized that we dropped our announcement for the Super Bowl show, second annual one. Main difference this year is we actually didn't plan it until 2 days before the Super Bowl. So we will be live from 1 p.m. till 4. We got some friends coming on the show, some people that have been on the show before, exciting musical guests, Jamie Lynn Music. I guess we don't use her last name. And she's going to be on. She's going to perform some of her songs. And that'll be fun. I mean, we gave Liam a challenge because we're really not sure how we're going to live stream this from wherever she is to where we are, but we're going to do that. We're going to give us some swag. We got some bangerang stuff. We got our friends at MJ's that are going to help us out, and we're going to, if you're looking for somewhere to go watch the Super Bowl, that's a pretty good place because they sent us their specials. We'll post that stuff out probably later on this week. But if I wasn't going to be watching it here, I think I'd watch it there. Pretty nice little cozy atmosphere. So, Chad, off the top of your head, I guess, give me 5 athletes across any sport that you would pay money to see right now.
They have to be active.
They have to be active, yeah.
Okay. First off, Connor McDavid would be one of them. I'm not
Okay.
even a huge hockey fan. That guy's a hockey player. That guy's a phenomenal athlete. Um, Andre DeGrasse, the sprinter, Canada, that guy.
Okay.
Michael Phelps. Is he
Is he
still
still?
going or is he retired?
I don't believe he's active.
Ah, I lost my number three. Okay. I was pretty proud of that one.
He put the flippers. He put the flippers away. Too many gold medals.
Hey, he was faster. He raced a shark one time on Shark Week. So, hey, it's pretty. Guy's got some moves.
There you go.
Liam can't handle me right now. Liam broke character and no one can even see him. And I think obviously Conor McGregor. That's just you got to watch that guy. Tyson Fury would be the other one. And then as far as football goes, I think Patrick Mahomes is just must see TV.
All right. Well, my list. Surprise! I don't know how we didn't end up with anybody on each other's list. Um, and full disclosure, I forgot that I put this question when I sent you the thing, so I didn't prepare for it either. But right off the top of my head, Josh Allen. I've kind of talked about how I think that he took a huge step this year. Naturally, it wasn't like that's breaking news or a hot take. The guy played significantly better, and I think he's just fun to watch the way that he plays. He's running anywhere from a quarterback sweep to throwing it 60 yards down the field. You don't really know what you're getting from him, and he's built to take a couple hits. So he's not somebody that you're going to go watch and he's going to get hurt in the first quarter. You're not going to see him. Uh, Number two, Sidney Crosby. If you have not watched Sidney Crosby play hockey in person, you are doing yourself a disservice. I've seen it many of times. Even now, while the guy isn't racking up the points the way that he used to, he still sets up Jake Gensel at least once or twice a game. That guy still pulls in an assist here, there. He's doing things with the puck that you and I wish that we could do. Uh, NBA, I don't really get into a whole lot, but there's two guys in the NBA right now that are pretty exciting. And one of them played at Michigan State, and that's Miles Bridges. He plays for Charlotte right now. The guy, he's basically Dunk City. Uh, he'll do anything from score 15 points in a game to 45 points in a game. But when he does it, he's electric. And he plays good defense. He can shoot. Ja Morant, which anybody that watches basketball knows who Ja Morant is. Again, that's not a hot take. That's just a guy that is amazing at basketball. And rose himself up from the college levels, made an immediate impact. The Memphis Grizzlies are one of the top teams in the West because of him. And the reason that I started watching him is because I seem to bet on the Memphis Grizzlies a lot. And I'll tell you, they are a covering wagon. They they always cover, no matter what. It's amazing. And then last is Mike Trout. Baseball might be locked out, but we didn't forget about Mike Trout, and hopefully baseball gets their shit together and figures out what they're going to do so that we can see that again. But again,
Jesus, Liam.
I have no idea what you just sent. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, it doesn't
Jesus.
show up.
I can't.
Doesn't doesn't show up in
This
my
is a
thing.
this is a family show, Liam. Family
What
show,
what
and
did
it's
he
me
do?
saying that.
Yeah,
Oh, look at your phone.
my phone's over there. I can't right now. I'll look at it later. Yeah, Mike Trout, and anytime that you can go see Tiger Woods, you're going to be in good shape. Uh, and that news was just kind of sparked based on like with all these guys retiring, who's really left. It is a pretty handy reminder to realize how many guys are left, and then to realize who's kind of next coming up. So we got the Senior Bowl that's coming up on either Saturday or Sunday, the game itself. And because it's something that's probably a little bit closer to both Chad and I don't think that Chad and I would have both said that we were in the quarterback market back in September. I think I was pretty clear on thinking that Roethlisberger was going to play at least one more year. But there's six quarterbacks that are playing in this Senior Bowl, and all six of them I think have a legitimate shot to be taken in the first two rounds here. Uh, and probably the most intriguing would be the guy that we don't know anything about, and the guy I seen him play one. Actually, I seen him play two games. One his bowl game where he threw for 500 yards and like seven touchdowns, and then a game against Michigan State, and that's Bailey Zippy. He led the FBS. He broke Joe Burrow's record for touchdowns, broke Joe Burrow's record for yards. Uh, they ran such a crazy air raid offense from Western Kentucky, and they did play like some decent competition. And like I said, they did win their bowl game. And this guy, I think, had seven touchdown passes in it. So that'll be an interesting one to see because I think he'll start to fly up the boards. But uh, Sam Howell, Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ritter, Carson Strong, and Malik Willis are all playing at the Senior Bowl. And like I said, I think even if we looked at this thing last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I don't think there would ever have been a time where all the quarterbacks in the Senior Bowl are probably going to be first and second round picks. I mean, that's probably not even
I
worth
don't.
researching,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I don't know a lot about uh, Bailey Zippy. Obviously, not a huge like. It's tough to get a Western Kentucky football game. You said you saw him play, but I know he broke a lot of records. The two guys that I'm most interested in seeing. I know how you feel about Carson Strong. You've been on him all year long,
yep,
so I'll let you have him. But Sam Howell and Malik Willis. Malik Willis has the biggest upside, I think, out of everybody. He's kind of that Trey Lance situation, and I think a lot of people don't know what they're going to get. But his arm talent is something to talk about, and he's a phenomenal athlete. So I want to see what he's going to do. And another one is Sam Howell, who had a disappointing senior season. They said he could have came out last year and probably would have been a day one or two draft pick.
yeah,
He ended up going back for his senior year. He was supposed to be the guy, and obviously a disappointing senior season. It happens. So I think for a guy like him, he could actually go to a really good situation. He's if I'm a team picking at the end of the first round, both of those guys are two guys I would definitely want to look into and talk to.
mm-hmm.
Uh, from obviously number one, the one was supposed to be a top pick the year before, supposed to come back and be the guy that season. Now everybody stopped talking about him. And the other one just has such an upside that no one knows about. And it's almost like the sky is the limit for him.
Mm-hmm.
So those are two guys I want to see and what they do. And I was talking to one of my good friends about this, and the perfect place for a guy like one of those guys to go, and I know it's a hopefully I'm not jinxing their careers. That Lions team has a lot of draft picks coming up. Their offensive line was pretty good last year. Um, you have a top three pick. You also have the Rams pick at 31 or 32,
Probably
and you have
32.
a late 20 pick. You could easily take top of the second round pick and then the late pick, and you could use one of those to bump up into that 20 to 22 range, not give up too much. And I think one of those two guys is right there for them. It's going to come down to scouting, obviously, and what they like better. But I'm really interested to see what those two guys do.
Yeah, yeah, and look, I mean, Willis is probably a guy that is gonna. I mean, he's probably the guy that you want in the first round because you want the extra year out of him. He hasn't played against top tier competition, but he did have a former SEC coach in Hugh Freeze at Liberty. So it's not like he wasn't getting proper coaching. Hugh Freeze coached Auburn for a while, and I believe he coached at Ole Miss even more recently. So uh, that guy don't. I mean, he knows how to develop players, and he obviously recruited that guy to the school for a reason. They had a lot of success there. But yeah, Carson Strong. I mean, from Nevada, uh, crazy big guy. His biggest knock on him is probably that he's not as mobile as some of the other guys, but that's okay. I mean, you don't like he's not a statue. They just got through the last 2 years with Ben Roethlisberger playing in quicksand, so it's not gonna be as bad as that. So uh, he's not Josh Allen mobility, and he's not even like Patrick Mahomes or any like that kind of. He's probably a little bit better athlete than like a Kirk Cousins, I guess. But he's also playing, he's playing on the West Coast. You could turn these guys into anything. I'm sure that they could find a way to get them a little bit faster, find a way to run with your feet underneath you instead of, over top of yourself. But he's got a big arm and he's got a lot of talent. And then Desmond Ritter, who just seems like he's fallen off the board. I mean, this guy, I guess he's a little bit small. I mean, just like physically small, but you could put on a little bit of weight. You could fill yourself out. Uh, I think that we were all skinny at that point in college, right? there, that at that point, that was when you're in like peak physical condition. Um, Definitely didn't dominate against the top competition outside of the Notre Dame game, I guess. But that Notre Dame's defense was pretty good. They did that in Notre Dame. I think that people are sleeping on this Ritter kid, and I would tell you right now that I would be thrilled if the Steelers took Ritter, even if they used their first round pick on him, which I don't think they would. But even if they did,
I
I would be comfortable
I
with
think
him.
it's one of those things where you have to take almost the first round pick though, because you want that 5th year.
Yeah,
Ritter's like he was. I've been high on him the whole year. He was like my version of your Colin Strong. It's kind of why I left him off my list this time because I think all I've done is beat the drum with that guy. Um, but yeah, no, I think any of those, like anybody that's there is going to be go. I think Kenny Pickett's probably going to be the first one gone.
either him or Corral, right? Like if
I think so.
Corral proves that his
If
his ankle's in good shape, like I think he'll be fine.
But yeah, outside of those two, I think it could be a crapshoot. I think, like I said, from 15 to 25, it's going to be fun to watch, and there's going to be a lot of moves. I think we should just both book off the next day of the draft because I know what happened last year. Us watching it.
Yeah,
You,
we
me,
we
and
like
Pat
that.
McAfee might have been the most drunkest people in North America watching that draft.
Yeah. This time we'll make sure that the chewable vitamins aren't raking out. Uh, but the other thing, I mean, and this is just a quick draft point and something that people are just gonna have to get used to. There's gonna be three running backs that are shooting up the board, and I think that one, if not two of them, are gonna end up in the first round, and that's gonna be Bryce Hall from Iowa State. Uh, so that's Isaiah Spiller from Texas A&M, and Kenneth Walker the third from Michigan State. All those guys are going to fly up the board, and the second one of them goes, there's going to be a little bit of a run because there is a big drop on the running back talent, and those three guys are like legit superstars. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. I mean, we still have a combine. East West Shrine games on tonight. Senior Bowl's on Thursday, or today's Thursday. Senior Bowl's Saturday, I guess. So I mean, it's worth tuning in and worth checking out. As far as, I guess the Olympics are starting today too, right, Liam? The Olympics are starting? Yeah, I don't really watch the Olympics, but I'm sure Kalen does, and Kalen could fill us in on the Olympics. So this weekend, Chad, if you're sitting in front of your TV and you had to pick the NHL All Star Game or the Pro Bowl, where's your clicker going?
Oh. Oh. Probably as I'd probably watch the NHL All Star game before I watch the Pro Bowl. I'm not a big hockey guy, but it's pretty much a game of pick me up and
Yeah,
shinny. And they just have some fun out there. At least I find
just
it's
like
a
a
bit
three
more
on three
entertaining.
pickup tournament kind of thing.
Yeah, They just have a bit more fun with it, I guess. The Pro Bowl, I just wish they didn't have it. I think it should just be voted on by your peers or by the fans or whoever they do it, and that way we don't have the 13th, 14th, and 15th best quarterbacks in the league representing their conference.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Like,
and
as long as you're not the worst quarterback in the NFL or in your conference, there's a good chance you still might make the Pro Bowl.
yeah, and when they used to do it after the Super Bowl, like, us fans, I think we were even less interested as we are right now. But it might have been easier to get some players out there. Like if you, and it's weird because I saw some Bills players, so I'm kind of speaking out of turn here. But it's weird to be a Bills player and like want to be out there. Like it was just 2 weeks ago that you got your heart ripped out, and I didn't see any Chiefs players running around out there. I can't imagine many of them went. Uh, Maybe the 49ers guys, but like after you just got like
You're
through a
heartbroken.
physical season, and yeah, like of course, I don't know, I don't see it. Um, there was actually, you know what? There's a big NFL story that we skipped right over, and I'm surprised. Uh, the 49ers have said that Jimmy G's getting traded here. Like
I
John
heard they
Lynch
were
said it.
actively looking.
Yeah, John Lynch
Um,
said it, and Garoppolo just said trade me to somewhere that wants to win.
I'll take him. I would take him.
How do you trade the guy out of your building when he just got you to the NFC Championship,
And 2 years before he went to the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl? Yeah, I mean this
So the
guy.
2 years he's been active, you went to a Super Bowl and an NFC Championship. And yes, he doesn't do it sexy. There's nothing sexy about the way that he wins.
Which
But
is
the guy's a
ironic
winner.
because the guy's gorgeous.
He's
It's
probably the
weird.
most handsome quarterback in the NFL.
Well,
Um,
especially now that Tom's out.
they were both on the same team too. They must have just slayed Boston. Um,
I think Tom Brady's married, but yeah,
yeah, okay. Yeah, Giselle's all right too.
yeah, yeah. I
But
just
yeah,
like he's married to a supermodel, so he's probably all right. Go ahead,
lost my
Chad.
train
Go
of
ahead.
thought
Yeah,
there.
choo
But
choo,
yeah,
pick it
no,
back up.
it's one of those things where I don't understand how you can just willingly walk that guy out the door, and I don't think you're going to get that much. Like it wouldn't cost that much to bring him in.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Like you're not
the
going to get more than a fourth or a third for him.
The big
And
relief
if
that you're
I'm a
getting
team
is,
that's close, if
yeah.
I'm a
I
team
mean,
that's close, I make that move.
you're getting you're getting him off your books, which obviously is the most important thing for the GMs is they don't want to overspend, especially you're heading into free agency. You want a little bit of money to play with. Uh, you want to have as much cap space as possible when you're running out there with your rookie quarterback or second year your quarterback in his rookie deal anyway. Uh, as much as Kalen doesn't understand how those work, uh, we
They're very
we
important.
yeah we won't bury him while he's not even on here. Yeah, I mean top three teams that come to mind as far as Jimmy G goes. I mean, I think it would make a lot of sense for Tampa Bay. I think it would make a lot of sense for Pittsburgh. I actually think it would make a lot of sense for Tennessee. So uh, there's a very good likelihood that we're going to talk a lot of Jimmy G football because I think he's going to end up on one of our teams. And outside of that, I mean, who else? Maybe the Colts. I don't know. I just, I
I
I
can't
guess
see
you
the
could pit
Colts
him
going from
anywhere.
Carson Wentz to Jimmy G. I think that'd be a tough slide. Go from Wentz to Jimmy G. I feel the same style of quarterback as far as play goes. Just Jimmy wins. That's the only difference. But
Yeah. Well, what about Let's just throw a wrench in this thing. So, Josh McDaniels just took over with with Las Vegas. Here I am. I'm saying the Raiders are in Oakland still. Uh, Maybe they ship Derek Carr out of town and they bring Jimmy G to the Raiders. I don't think that he fits that scheme the way that all those guys are there and the way that they play, but Darren Waller could catch a ball or two from Jimmy G, and he could definitely turn around and hand it to Jacobs. They're probably going to need to figure out a little bit more of a run game for him, but that one it makes a little bit of sense. He's got some familiarity with the offense already.
yeah, I can't see the Raiders just letting go of Derek Carr. Yeah, he is their franchise,
I didn't think
and
they
I
were
think
going
the
to let go
fan.
of that coach, but they still did.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I think you could do a lot of damage to that Vegas fan base if you got rid of your starting quarterback, though. And it's not like Jimmy G would be a star. Like if you bring Aaron Rodgers in, yeah, then the fan base is backing you 100%. I
Yeah, I
almost
mean,
like without insulting both those two quarterbacks, I almost feel like it's a lateral move at that point.
yeah, if you can't move on from a coach that the players all want there. And I mean, we've seen the results of what happens when this kind of stuff happens. The locker room's going to be divided, and that's not a comfortable situation for the quarterback or for the coach to walk into. Any of the new coaches that are going to be a part of that thing, they're all going to think that this is what Basaccia did. This is why we did this. This is how we got in our playoff run. McDaniel's isn't going to play that shit, and you know, I don't think that there's positive things in the works for the Raiders. I guess is what we'll say. Um, we'll see. Now, before we roll off here, which we got about I don't know, like 8 minutes or so, uh, college basketball is starting to heat up, and I know that this is probably right around the time that most people will start tuning in because now that Saturdays and Sundays are pretty open as far as sports go, you can pay a little bit of attention to the CBS game of the week or whatever's going on Monday night. They have Big Monday on ESPN that's always on TSN. Like right now, for example, Arizona and UCLA are playing, which is number 3 versus number 7. Pretty big game. A potential Final Four matchup is on right now. Now, uh, of the Power Five conferences, and I know Chad, you're kind of just like cutting your teeth again on college basketball. I watch it all year round because I just enjoy it. But uh, would it surprise you if I told you that the SEC does not just dominate football; they are starting to dominate basketball as well?
I noticed it last year. There was a lot of teams in the tournament. That's kind of the first time I ever really noticed it because like you and I have talked for years, and we do our brackets every year, and I pick teams based off their football programs and roll the dice outside of like the couple power basketball schools. And I actually noticed how many SEC tournament teams were in there that were in the
Yeah,
tournament compared to previous years.
yeah. Like right now, I mean, Auburn's the number one team in the entire country, which this is the first time in their program's history that it's happened. Obviously, Kentucky is always going to be around. Kentucky's a name that everyone's heard. That's an SEC powerhouse for that generally cakewalks the entire conference. But it's not even just them anymore. It's Alabama's pretty good. Florida. You got the Tennessee Volunteers. There's a high likelihood that they're going to have 7 or 8 teams again this year, and they're starting to make a pretty strong case on whether they're the top college basketball conference like this year in general. I mean, the Big 12 has typically been that over the last couple of years, just based on, I mean, they have Kansas and Baylor. Both Kansas and Baylor have just kind of traded back and forth for who's number one and who's not number one. And then the Big 10, who I would always be biased to, but even the Big, I don't think that there's going to be a number one seed that comes out of the Big Ten this year, and I can't remember the last time something like that has happened. So it's definitely leaning that way. There's also, and when you start to fill out your bracket, a team to not forget about, Chad, is Marquette. They are like a small little school in Milwaukee, and they have just been pulverizing all these top teams. Providence, Villanova, and yeah, I mean those are guys to watch out for. They can play on the road, they can play defense, they can score with anybody. So that's definitely one to watch out for. And coming out of the Big East, so coming down the stretch, we got about 6 weeks until it actually comes around for college basketball. So we'll try and keep you updated. We'll try and keep Chad awake for it anyway. Uh, because to be honest, Chad, this spring we might only have college basketball to worry about, and I guess hockey playoffs. But uh, I know that hockey playoffs don't really catch your attention. Um, are you surprised that baseball is still in a lockout? Did you know baseball was locked out?
No,
Yeah.
I only knew when you guys talked about it the other day when
So
you and Caleb were talking.
As of December 2nd, the MLB locked out all of their players, and they're trying to work on a new CBA, which it just seemed like it was all kind of coming together. But things have broken down. They've had to pull in a federal moderator, and I don't even know what the next steps are. Spring training is going to get delayed. It's supposed to start in 24 days. There's no way that that's happening at this point. And as we get closer, the main points for what things are happening is the teams that are getting the revenue sharing. You know, anybody that understands basic baseball, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Dodgers basically pay for everybody else to have a team. That that's just the way the revenue sharing works. Obviously, there's big market teams out there, but all that money gets distributed, and all the teams kind of share equally in the wealth. Now, what the big market teams are saying is that's bullshit. We shouldn't do that because these teams aren't spending it on their roster. So, do you think that if you were given an extra $50 million, can you just be the Miami Marlins and tank your team every 5 years? But no matter what, knowing that all that money is coming to you.
Me personally, no, but I just hate losing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like these are businesses, so they're gonna treat them that way. If you're gonna be given 50 million every year and you don't have to spend it, a lot of teams, yeah, they're not gonna do it.
Right.
As long as they're not losing money, they don't care.
Well, this all goes back to, like, the Oakland A's used to try and win with Moneyball, and everyone tries to find their creative way to win without spending any money. And I guess if you're a baseball owner and you had the ability to, what are your chances of winning the World Series? Probably very minuscule. You look at a team like the Tampa Bay Rays that no matter if they're good or not, they can't sell out their stadium, to the point
So
that
why would you spend money?
they tried to move half of their home games to Montreal, and the league rejected it. So I don't know, it'd be interesting to see how long they can let something like that go for. And it seems pretty senseless to have a sports lockout during a pandemic, but whatever. Baseball doesn't. They need a new marketing director. I can tell you that their PR people stink. And Chad, if you're looking for a marketing job or a PR job, they might have one for you.
Can't do much worse.
Yeah,
Can't do much worse.
yeah, they might need somebody as real as you. But all right. Well, any final thought before we sign off here?
It's just a lonely weekend for sports. That's about it. That's
Yeah.
the way I look
Well,
at it.
I'm gonna give you a reason to watch the Pro Bowl. Okay. So you took the NFC. Kalen and Rick both took the AFC. Now, Kalen and Rick are tied. You are one ahead of them. So if the AFC wins, we are going to have a three-way tie heading into the Super Bowl to see whose ass is going in the water.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should have given Kalen a gift.
Hey, you were the one who came up with the rules.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'll do it regardless. It's for charity.
Yeah, we got to figure out which one.
But I would actually go in the water, unlike somebody. Just flop around like a dead fish.
Yeah, we should post those videos so that
Damn right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Chad's rocking his Blue Yeti Nano over there. Well, all right. Well, that gives you a reason to watch the Pro Bowl. That sets us up for the Super Bowl. Monday's show, we are going to be doing a countdown to Media Day. As exciting as that is, that's pretty exciting for Chad and I, because that's been one of our goals, is to get our asses out to Media Day for the Super Bowl so we can watch our dream unfold on TV. That'll all be counting down, and we will see you Monday. And don't forget, definitely go get yourself some Bangarang from the beer store. It's delicious. Cheers, boys.